I'm here to help you with Workshop 3. This is ALEKS Help. Okay, so there are 34 topics to ALEKS, and I have all of the samples here, and I'm going to kind of walk you through each one. So the first one, let's take a look at this one here. All right. Solving a linear equation with the several occurrences of the variables on the same side. And so what we're going to do is the first step we're going to do is we're going to combine the like variables. So in order to figure out which one you do first is I use, let's make this a little smaller, sorry. We're going to use PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You might have seen it as GEMDAS. G is for grouping or P is parentheses, either way, but it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So the first thing we're going to do on the same side, I'm just going to start first on the same side. And we're going to distribute in because I have parentheses means within the parentheses. And here I can't combine anything because one's a W, one's an 8, and I can't combine that at all because they're different. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute the parentheses. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this here. And I go 3W plus 6W minus 48 because I distributed these two into here. The next thing I'm going to do, so now I have parentheses. I have no exponents, and I look for multiplication and division. I don't have any multiplication and division. I just have addition and subtraction. So if you notice, I have these two here together, and I have negative 3 equals, that's going to be 9W minus 48. So now the first step, I finished this already, and I've gone and I've simplified it as much as possible for the right side and the left side. So now I'm going to combine the like terms on the left side and right side. So I'm going to add 48 on this side and add 48 on this side, and I'm going to 48 minus 3 is 45, and then I have 9W. So divide by 9 on both sides, and therefore that's going to be my answer because I have W is now equal to right here. And, and we're going to have here, so because we have 9 times 7 is 63, 9 times 6, of course, so 9 times 5. I'm sorry. There we go. So W is equal to 5. Okay, the next one, we're going to solve linear equations with several occurrences, variables now on both sides. So now we're going to do the same thing, except what we're going to do is we're going to do the left side, and then we're going to do the right side. So this one here, again, I've got the parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I have 7V minus 63, because 7 times 9 is 63, equals, and then I've got negative 4V plus 25. Now on this time, there was nothing to combine on this side, so now we're going to go from there. Okay, so now we need the letters on one side and the numbers on the other. So I want the letters on one side, and I want the numbers on the other side. And so once I do that is I have, I add 4V to both sides, and I get 11V. And I'm going to add 63 on the other side so I can get numbers on the other side. And I get 88. And then now I have 11, V is equal to 88, and I'm going to divide both sides by 11, and V is going to be indeed 8. Okay, so solving a word problem for two unknowns using a linear equation. So it says a local hamburger shop sold a combined total of 384 hamburgers and cheeseburgers. So I've got hamburgers plus cheeseburgers is 384. On Thursday, there were 66 fewer cheeseburgers sold than hamburgers. So I had my hamburgers is going to be my cheeseburgers plus 66, or I could have said my cheeseburgers is hamburgers minus 66. I could have said it like that, either way, right? So now how many were sold? So I'm just going to use this top one, doesn't matter. And so we have these two equations. And I'm going to just take this here, the C plus 66, and put it in for H. And we're going to find out how many cheeseburgers we had, and then we'll find out how many hamburgers. So I have hamburgers plus 66 plus cheeseburgers is 384. All right, so I have a C plus C, so it's going to be 2C. Plus 66 is 384. I'm going to subtract 66 from both sides. And I'm going to borrow here, and I get 14 minus 6 is 8. 7 minus 6 is 1. And then 3 minus 0 is 3. So I have 2C, 2 cheeseburgers, equals 318, divided by divided by 2. And cheeseburgers is going to be 1, 5, and then 9, 159. So 159 cheeseburgers, and it said how many hamburgers were sold. So I have to do 159 minus 66, or excuse me, plus 66, because there were more hamburgers. So 159 plus 66, and that's going to get me 5, carry the 1 is going to be 2, carry the 1, and that's 2, 225. All right, let me get rid of this. Go down to the next part. All right, inequality on a number line. Now I'm going to show you what number line it gives you. Okay, go from here. So to graph it on a number line, you're going to do this. Okay, less than is going to give you an open circle, and greater than is going to give you an open circle. Less than or equal to and greater than equal to is going to give you a closed circle. This means that it can touch. This means that it touches the value. This means it gets really, really, really close to it, but doesn't touch. So I look at this and I see it doesn't have an equal sign. So at -8, it's going to be an open circle. And that means that my value can get very, very close to -8, but it can't touch. Now it says this, and that's a less than. See the word less? It's in a less than sign, so it's all the numbers less than -8. So it's everything here, and it goes forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, let me go ahead and go to the next one here. All right, so this one says x is greater than 2 and less than 4. So we know that I'm going to put 2 and 4 because those are going to be the endpoints that I'm talking about. I'm greater than 2 and less than 4 means that it has to be bigger than 2 and less than 4, so all of this area. But it can't touch 2, so circle, because it says greater than, and can't touch 4. So it's going to you'll look like this, the line. So it's any number between 2 and 4. So it could be 2.01 all the way up to 3.9999999. All right? Okay, Mary got a prepaid debit card with $25 on it. Debit card, sorry. Her first purchase with a card, she bought some bulk ribbon at a craft store. The price was 21 cents per yard. So 21 cents per yard. After the purchase, it was $16.39 left on the card. All right, so she had $16.39 left on the card. So $25 minus $16.39. So let's see how much she spent first. So she spent, and we're going to borrow here. 1, borrow, 1. And we have 9 minus 6 is, or 9 minus 3 is 6. I'm saying it backwards, sorry. And this is 1, 14 is 8. So she spent $8.61. All right, so if she spent $8.61, then you're going to have 21 cents a yard. And it says how many yards did she buy? So 21 cents a yard equals 8.61. All right, so I divide by 21 cents. And it's going to be 8.61 divided by 21. So let's bring my calculator up here. All right, here we go. There. Okay, so we have, oh, look at this fun calculator. There. Okay, this one's giving me a little bit of trouble. Let me get my other calculator for you. 861 divided by 21. Okay. There Sorry, just one sec. Calculator page, and we have, all right, 8.61 divided by 21 cents, and that'll tell me I had 41 yards. All right. So the last one says, write the following as an inequality. Inequality means a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than equal to. Any of those signs. It says 9 is greater than or equal to, so 9 is greater than or equal to x. Then it says x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So we can write that in a combined sentence as negative 3, x, and then 9. Because it's saying it's bigger than negative 3, but smaller than 9. So we're writing it all together. The smaller number to the largest number. Okay, let me get rid of this. And let's go to the next one. Okay, writing a multi-step problem with a real-world situation. It says Jim takes both Westside Community College and Pinewood Community College. At Westside, the fees are $98 per credit. Okay, so $98 per credit at Westwood, and Pinewood is $115 per credit, and he's taking a total of 13 credits, and he paid, let's see, does it not tell me? Okay, so it says $115 per credit, and he's taking 13 credit. Don't know how much he's paying at this point, but suppose he's taking W credit hours. Write an expression to complete the total dollars he paid for his class fees. All right, so this is how I would find out. It would be 98W plus 115P. Now, it didn't tell me how much he spent total, and if it told me how much he spent total, I could find that out, but it just wants an expression for the combined total amount that he had to pay for his class in terms of W. All right, so if my P is equal to 13 minus W, right, subtract W from each side, then I can substitute this in for here, and I would get 98W plus 115, 13 minus W. And that would be my expression of how much he paid. Now I could simplify it, of course, multiplying the 115 in here. And so I'd have 115 times 13, and I'd have 115, so I'd have 98W plus, let's see what 115 times 13 is. Let's see. So 115 times 13 gets me 1495. So let's do this again. And I would have, again, I have 115W plus, because I had W plus P is 13. And then, of course, my W is equal to P minus 13. So I had 115W because that means, sorry, nope, that's not right. I had 115. Yes, that's, no, not 115W, sorry. That was 98W. 98W times 115 times W minus 13, because that was the P. And then, of course, we just did this, and we found that that was, now I can't remember what that was now, right? 115 minus, and so that's going to be 98W and 115W, and that's going to get you 8 plus 5 is 13, carry the 1, 9 plus 1 plus 1 is 11, carry the 1, and 213W. So it's going to be 213W plus a negative or minus 115 times 13, and that's going to be your expression. Okay, so the next one here, writing a one-step problem. So one-step problem is you're going to do this. Last week, Troy drove C miles. This week, he drove 289. Okay, the total number of he drove in 2 weeks, well, he drew C plus 289. That's it. Because this was last week, and this is this week. And that's going to be 2 weeks. Okay, for each question, choose a statement that describes the solution. Okay, so let's solve this and see. So the first step I'm going to do is distribute. So I get 4W minus 8 minus 3w equals, distribute here, 2w minus 12. So that I found 2w because 2 times w is 2w, and 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. So now let's go ahead and combine these. 4w minus 3w is w minus 8, and then I have 2w minus 12. So let's go ahead and combine the w's. Let's subtract 2w from this side. And so I have negative 1w minus 8 equals, and those cancel, negative 12. Add 8 to both sides, and I get negative w, or 1w, doesn't matter, is equal to negative 4, because I have negative 12 and positive 8, so it's a difference of negative 4, divided by negative 1, and I'm going to get w is equal to 4. So this would be the solution, and it would be a 4 in there. Okay, that's the top one. Let me do the bottom one. The bottom one, let's just switch to red, see if I can do it right aside here. So this one here is going to be 3v. 3 times 2 is 6, minus v equals 2v minus 2 plus 5. So I get 3v minus v is 2v plus 6, and 2v and minus 2 plus 5 is plus 3. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 2v from both sides, and I have 0. Look, they both cancel. So now I have 0, 0. I have 6 is equal to 3. So tell me, when is 6 equal to 3? It never is equal to 3, so that's why it's no solution, because this is impossible. So whenever you get something that's impossible, then it's going to be no solution. For all solutions, it would be something if it was like 6 equals 6. When does 6 equal 6? Always. It doesn't matter what v is, 6 would always equal 6, if that's what you end up being, or 3 equals 3 or something. So this would be a never, and this would be an always. Okay, solving a compound linear equality, graph basic, solution basic. It says solve the compound inequality. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to solve this. Let's go 2x plus 6 is less than or equal to negative 4. And so let's subtract 6, and I get 2x is less than or equal to negative 10, divide by 2, and I get x is less than or equal to negative 5. Let's do the second half. 3x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 2. So add 1. 3x is greater than or equal to 3. Divide by 3. X is greater than or equal to 1. So now we have from negative 5, it touches because look, it's less than or equal to, all the way to 1. And it's going to be everything less than negative 5, so it's everything that way. And everything greater than 1, so it's everything that way. So if we were to graph it, that's what I would have right here. So basically, it's anything that is not in between negative 5 and 1. Okay, this one says write the inequalities to represent the situation below. To ride the roller coaster, a visitor must be taller than 50 inches. H greater than 50. I can't be 50 exactly, I have to be taller than 50. Qualify for the championship, a runner must complete the race in no more than 45 minutes. So you have to have your time, it has to be less than or equal to 45. So 45 is okay. Okay, this one says to rent a certain meeting room, a college charges a reservation of $36, an additional fee. So reservation of $36 plus $9.70 per hour. It wants to spend at most. So this here is going to be, I want less than or equal to $94.20. And so this is the, they use T, it looks like, so I can just change this to T. But this here is the inequality. You would subtract 36 from both sides. You get 9.70 T is less than or equal to. And I go, of course, 20 cents here, and then borrow from the 9 to an 8, and 14 minus 6 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 58. Then I'm going to divide both sides by $9.70. So we need 5820 divided by 970, and that is going to be our answer. And so anything less than or equal to that, that is going to be the answer. All right. Okay, so that's the first bit. Here we go. Here's the next one. Solving a word problem with 3 unknowns. So let's go ahead and go to 3. I have Christine, Boris, and Michael. Have a total of 82 text messages. So I'm going to add these up probably and say, okay, that's 82 text messages during the weekend. Michael sent 4 times as many, so Michael sent 4 times as many as Christine, so 4C. Boris sent 8 fewer than Christine, so Christine minus 8. How many messages did they send? So what I've done here is I've now put them all into, I've kind of combined them, and so I can put, let's see, all into forms of C. So I'm noticing also this means Michael is going to be 4C. So I'm going to have, if you notice here, let me just highlight here and show you. Let's look at our highlighter. There we go. So if you notice, Michael is going to be 4C. And Boris here is going to be C minus 8. So all of these terms are going to turn to C because we have Christine here, and we have Boris, and Boris is here, C minus 8. That's that. And then finally, Michael is 4C, and then that's equal to 82. So now it's just adding them up. So I've got C, C, and 4C, so that's 6 C's. Minus 8 is equal to 82. Add 8 to both sides. And I get 6C is equal to 90. Divide both sides by 6. And we're going to get C is equal to 15. So Christine's 15. Michael is 4 times 15, which is 60. That's Michael. And Boris is 15 minus 8, which is 7. So that's Michael. Or sorry, Boris. Write an inequality for this number line. Okay, so we have basically, this means all the numbers less than negative 3. So x is less than negative 3. That's what that means. Less than, not less than or equal to, because the open circle means it gets really close to but doesn't touch. Okay, this next one, solving a one-step problem to use formula distance equals rate times time. That's what that means. Distance equals rate times time. And guys, you can think about it. Let's say you're driving 60 miles per hour. Miles per hour. For 1 hour. How far have you gone? Obviously, those are going to cancel. You've gone 60 miles. You're going 60 miles in 1 hour. You've gone 1 hour. You're going 60 miles. And that's your rate. And that's your time. And you multiply those two and you get your distance. Okay, so this is a construction worker has built a new road. They works for 6 weeks. So that's the time they've worked, 6 weeks. They built a road at, this is the rate that they did it, and so how many, what's the distance? So you would just do 6 times 7.68, and you guys can throw that in your calculator just fine. Okay, this one here, let's get rid of this and go to the top. Okay. All right, so this is just solving. This is the same thing we just did in the first problem, so I'm not sure why it has us going back, but except it's just having us circling back, I guess, to make sure we understand it. So 5W plus 3W is 8W. Divide by 8 on both sides, and 8 times 5 is 40, so W is equal to 5. Okay? Translate into an equation. 9 times... Okay, so I'm going to put 9 times. Then it says the sum of. Whenever you see the sum of, the difference, or something, you know you're going to do something here. So the sum means you're going to add the sum of a number, so a number, and 7. And 7. And we're saying all of this is equal to 5. That's it. Okay, this next one. 2 consecutive integers. That means if I have 3, 4, that would be consecutive integers. So when I have consecutive integers, one of them is x, because I don't tell you what it is. The other one is going to be x plus 1, because it's just going to be the next one after that. So it says the sum of these, so if I add x to x plus 1, I'm going to get 77. So now if I combine those, I get 2x plus 1 is 77. Subtract 1 from both sides, and I get 2x is equal to 76. Divide by 2 on both sides, and I'm going to get x is equal to 38. So one is 38, and the other's 39, because they're consecutive integers. Okay, let's look at this one. It says identify solutions to a two-step linear equation. Okay, for each value w, determine whether it's a solution to this one here. Okay, so let's just solve it. I mean, you can take w and plug w in and go negative if you want to do that. I'll show you. I'm going to show you a quick way, and then this is the harder way to do it. Negative 4 plus 9 times 1 is greater than negative 49, and just see is it true or not. So this is negative 4 plus 9 is greater than negative 49, and that's going to be 5. 9 minus 4 is 5 is greater than negative 49. Is that true? Is 5 bigger than negative 49? Yes, that is true. So you'd say yes. So you can go through and do it for each one, or we can just solve for w, and if it's true, then we'll say yes. If it's not, we'll say false. So that's what I'm going to do. That's really the quicker way. So I'm going to do that and show you how that would happen. So if I did that, I would not have done this at all. I just would do this. Negative 4 plus 9w is greater than negative 49. And I would add 4 to both sides. And I'd have 9w is greater than negative 45. Okay, and then I would divide by 9 on both sides, and I would get w is greater than 45. Negative 45 divided by 9 is negative 5. So any number that's bigger than negative 5 is going to be true. So negative 3 is bigger than negative 45, but 6 is not, and negative 5 is not. It is equal to it. So that's a little quicker way to just solve the problem and then look at the chart. But if you're having trouble with that, you can do it the way that I showed you first. Okay, let's look at the next section of problems. Compound inequality given a graph on the number line. So compound inequality is just telling you I've got 2 endpoints, and so I've got 5 and I've got 7 here. And I see that they're open circles, so that means that's going to be less than here. And then I'm just going to put, it tells me to use x in between them. And that's it. If this was closed circle, that's what it would look like. If this was closed circle, that's what it would look like. Okay? Solve the inequality for this one here. So this is w plus 2 is less than or equal to 20. So you just subtract 2, and you get w is less than or equal to 18. This one is additive property inequality, and this is solve it. And I'm going to add 19 to both sides. And I'm going to get v is less than or equal to 6. Okay, the multiplicative property of inequality with the integers. So on this one here, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3. But what happens when you multiply by a negative? Let me just share with you over here. Let's just do this. 1 is less than 2. Simple, right? Let's multiply this by negative 1. Both sides. Tell me what happens. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. But now, negative 1 is not less than negative 2. If you see on the number line, of course, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, you can see definitely negative 2 is less than. So what happens when you multiply by a negative, you're taking things from over here, and it literally is a mirror right here, and it flips it to this side, and so now this flips a sign. So when you multiply or divide by negative, it flips it across 0 and literally is going to flip the sign. So this is what we're going to have. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. But now instead of less than or equal to, it's going to be greater than or equal to. And then those cancel, and you're going to have x. So you can write it as x is less than or equal to negative 18, or you can say x is greater than, or negative 18 is greater than or equal to x. It's like saying I'm 2 inches taller than you. No, you're 2, and then I say I'm 2 inches taller than you, and you go, no, 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 I'm 2 inches shorter than you. Well, we're saying the same thing. We're just different order. Okay, for this one to simplify, we're going to add 3 to both sides first. And you get 20. And then the last step you always do is you mess with the x's. And so you're going to divide by 5 at the very end. And you get 4 is greater than or equal to, oh, whoa, 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 what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I divided it with and got the answer is what I did. You're going to divide by 4 and you're going to get 5. That's, I think what I did is I divided it and got the answer and then divided it by the answer, which didn't mean to do that. So again, you can write it as x is less than or equal to 5, or 5 is greater than or equal to x. All right, for this one here, I'm going to add 19 to both sides first, and we get negative 1/9 is less than, so for 19 minus 14 is 5. I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 9, but what happens when we multiply by a negative? Now there's a w in there. I forgot that w. That's there. Well, those cancel. And I'm going to end up with w, but what happened when I multiply by negative on both sides? This sign is going to flip to greater than, and I'm going to get 5 times negative 9, which is negative 45. And that's my answer. Okay, solving a linear with multiple occurrences on the variable. This here, you're going to, same thing that we did in the beginning, is that we're going to PEMDAS on each side. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so I'm going to multiply through here, and I have negative 9y plus, and I have 7 times y is 7y. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, greater than or equal to negative 28. And then I'm going to go 7 minus 9y is negative 2y. And minus 14 is greater than or equal to negative 28. Add 14 to both sides. And I get negative 2y is greater than or equal to negative 14. Divide by negative 2. And y is, now remember I divided by negative, so it's going to have to flip. So it's going to be less than or equal to 7. And that's it. This one solved for x. So we have a negative 12 and a positive 7. So we're going to combine that first. So I have 26. And negative 12, so I have 12 negatives, and I have 7 positives. So now that's a difference of, that's a difference of 5 x's. Negative 12x plus 7x is 5x. Add 9 to both sides, and I get 35 is equal to 5x. So the last step is divide by 5, and x is going to be equal to 7. Okay, and this one here, I have subtract 7 from both sides. So I have negative 4w is equal to negative 10w plus 30. Then I'm going to add 10w. And I get 6w is equal to 30. And w is equal to 5. Okay, and the last bit is this. I think I've got a couple more problems here. So this solve for u is going to be 6u, and it's distributed into minus 18 is equal to 36. Okay, let's, of course, take the numbers and combine them first. And so I have 6u is equal to 18. Oh, not 18. Because I was adding, sorry, I was doing 36 minus 18, but it should be 36 plus 18. So that's going to be 54. And now divide by 6. Divide by 6, and u is equal to 9. Okay? Multiplicative property of inequality. So this one is going to be the same thing we did before is okay. So this is multiplied by 3 divided by 2. So let's do the opposite. Multiply by negative 2 and divide by 3 on both sides. Now, remember, these are going to cancel. I multiplied by negative, so this is, instead of a less than, it's going to become a greater than, and I'm going to have y, and this is going to be negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12 divided by 3, and of course that's going to be y is greater than 4. All right, 2 more problems. Graph this set. So to graph this set here, I have something at 1 and something at 4. Well, the something at 1, it touches 1 because it's a less than or equal to. The something at 4 does not touch, so it's open circle. And then that's it in between. That's simple. Okay. You know, on this one too, let me just go on this one. I didn't show you because I think on yours also, it makes you show the interval notation, and that's 1 comma 4. The bracket refers to whenever it has a less than or equal. The parenthesis would be a greater than. If it was this, let me just change this, 1x, this one here. Now this one would be a parenthesis, and this one would be a bracket because of the less than or equal to. Less than or equal to means it touches, less than means it doesn't touch, and this would be like this. So you see the difference, how it changes. Okay, last problem. Last problem is Rita's participating in a 5-day cross-country bike challenge. She biked for all these different miles for in the first 4 days. How many miles does she need to go to last day? So her average is 54. So you're going to do 47 plus 60 plus 66 plus 52 plus x divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because she's doing 5 days, and we want that average to be 54. So that's the equation. So step 1, 54 times 5. So that's going to be 270, I believe. 270 is equal to, let's add these up, and that's going to be 60, 126, 178, and we got, so I got 178 and 47, just doing this in my head. So 5, 15 is going to be 812, and then 225. So x plus 225, subtract 225, subtract 225, and then that's going to get you your answer, which of course is going to be 45. So that's right, right? 6, yes, of course, 45. So 45 is equal to x, and that's your answer. Okay, well, one quick note on this one. If it's something like x is greater than 4, then the way this would go is that it would mean it starts at 4, and it would go all the way to infinity. And that would also be a parenthesis. So if it's something that keeps going, that's where it was. All right, I hope that helped you, and we'll talk to you later.